Hello my friend, are you ready for football predictions for this weekend? Not only the Bundesliga, also we go into the Premier League, to the La Liga and to the Spanish League, and we have an experiment. We are only betting on what the majority is betting. We find 100 bets in this video and bet on the majority, what people say, and then we see if we are right. First game, Union Berlin versus Bochum. I'm pretty sure the majority thinks Union Berlin is gonna win, more than 70% for Union Berlin. Odds are 1.57. For me that's too low, but I understand that you will go with the favorites, and we will see after 100 bets if we are profitable with betting on the majority and on clear favorites. And if the odds are so low, we expect a lot, and a lot people betting on them. So till now it was not hard to decide which team will be the winner here. In this situation it's more complicated, and this is really the first game I would bet on, and I would say I would go with Werder Bremen, and again the majority is on my side here. So let's go to England Premier League. Arsenal London versus Everton. Sure thing, 1.22 for Arsenal, and 88% think Arsenal is gonna win this game. Also Liverpool unbeatable, 88% against Fulham. Newcastle will win their home game against Leicester. 77% think that Newcastle gonna win. To be honest, I won't bet on this heavily. And the Wolves against Ipswich, also interesting game, because I think it's likely to have a draw here. I would say a draw with 3.8, but I have never seen a game in soccer where the draw had the most people betting on it. So in this situation also a lot of people, 71% are going with the home team as a favorite. And in this situation I think it's a bit different, as we have Aston Villa as a Champions League team as the underdog, and I don't think they are really the underdog. That's why 45% of the people bet on Aston Villa here. To be honest, I would do the same, because the odds are that high, so it's correct. And so let's have a look into the Spanish League. On Saturday we have the first interesting one with Espanyol versus Osasuna. I know that this is also a balanced game, because I was betting on this game before this video and I was betting on Osasuna, but what do the people do? Maybe they are having a look at the standings and decide it's maybe a good thing to bet on the home team, or I don't know. Here you go, you have Osasuna on spot 7 and Espanyol on place 18. And why? 11 spots difference is not the reason that Osasuna might be the favorite here. So I think the odds are really interesting here, and 5th of the people also bet on Osasuna, or at least they tip that Osasuna might win this game. Mallorca versus Girona, and here we also have an interesting situation, as both are almost on the same spots, with Girona being a Champions League team from last year, underperforming in this season but not being the underdog here. I would say it's fair to bet on Girona here, or Girona, but I don't think that the majority is doing that. Anyway, I put the bet on it, and so 41% are right maybe to bet on them. Anyway, if they lose that, it's okay, because we have huge odds. If we win a lot. If we lose, it's okay, because they're underdog. Sevilla versus Celta de Vigo. Same thing here. No really attractive odds on the home team, and I would say it's not wise to bet on the home team. Anyway, 62% are going with Sevilla here, and yeah, we will see after the game who was right, if the majority is right, or if it's maybe sometimes in every third situation better to bet on higher odds. And last, no one would bet on Vallecano here, 87% on Real. To be honest, I won't bet on Real in this situation as the odds are very unattractive. But let's go to the Italian league, where Cagliari hosts Atalanta, and I really like Cagliari. It's on my favorite island, Sardinia. I want to live there, and that's why Cagliari is one of my favorite teams. And anyway, I think Atalanta is the way better team because they are number 1 in the standings and Cagliari is number 15, so no hard decision for favorite bets to say that Atalanta might win this game in 86% of the situations, but the odds are not worth to do that with money. The second in the league, Napoli, lost against Lazio Rome last week, twice, once in the cup, once in the league, and now still favorite against Udinese, as Udinese is number 9. Sure thing for favorite bettors, 1.7, not that bad, as we might think that 83% of the people think that Napoli is the winner. Also, Juve versus Venezia should be a clear thing. Also, hands off with real money. Next league, the French one, we have Marseille versus Lille with a home win for Marseille here in the top game between 2 and 4, and 66% of the people think it's wise to bet on Marseille. I wouldn't do that as the odds are too low for Marseille and they should be more balanced, and they are not, so I don't think it's a clear win. Auxerre versus Lens, no really big favorite situation here. Both are in the middle field of the standings, and anyway 1.95 for Lens is very low, and I don't go with the majority here. I just bet on X, as 64% think Lens is the winner here. I doubt it. And if I doubt something, doesn't mean I'm into it and I bet money on it. I just say I don't want to risk money in this game, and most of the times it's better to not risk money, as yeah, you can't predict each and every game. Rennes versus Monaco, we have a clear Monaco favorite situation, almost 80% for Monaco. We are going to my second home country, Portugal, and we have Nacional versus Moreirense, and perfect game for bettors like me, high odds on every side, so we hardly can make a mistake, as in the standings it should be a clear thing for Moreirense, and nothing more to say about that. We go with the majority who is orientated in the standings, which is legit, and 61% are right here, or might be right. I'm not really sure about that. Turkish League, Rizespor versus Konyaspor. Also we have a home team which is favorite, but not really, and that's why I would say it's better to go for a draw, as we have high draw odds, and the favorite has 60% of the people on its side, but the odds are just 2.1. In a game like this, it's not worth to put money on it, as you don't have fair odds. Sure thing here, Alanyaspor, 57%. Great game in the second league in Germany, second Bundesliga, Magdeburg versus Paderborn. The leader, Paderborn, but as you can see, it's damn close. With a win, Magdeburg theoretically can overtake the number 1. 9 teams within 3 points. This is maybe the most dense league in the world at the moment. And on the other hand, good for us as we get really high odds on the number 1 team here, as Magdeburg is kind of a surprise that they are so close to the top positions, and Paderborn is not really, and we see 55% of the people, go with Paderborn. Next interesting game between Schalke and Fortuna Düsseldorf. Schalke has the same odds as Fortuna. The only reason why is that Schalke has a big, huge name, and that might be a reason that still they have the most fans in the second league, so most of the people will bet on Schalke, which in this situation and at the moment situation of Schalke is for sure not a really good situation. Or do you want to bet against a team which might be one of the best teams and be in the first league next year, like Fortuna Düsseldorf? I don't want to bet against them, but we get really high odds to bet on them. That's why I would say the majority of the Schalke fans here for sure doesn't know anything about betting. Easy game on Hamburg, 80% versus Ulm. Ulm might be relegated into the third league, is a newly promoted team, and Hamburg is close to the top, and also a huge team in Germany, and they should play in the first league, but they're struggling each and every year. And fourth really close game between Darmstadt and Kaiserslautern, and as you see, Kaiserslautern is very good at the moment, and Darmstadt also a really good team, but misses some points to the top, and we get favorite odds for the home team here, which might be totally right, as you can see how close this is, and every game can change a lot in this league, and every game day, and every team can beat the other one, so we can roll the dice, but what is better than rolling the dice? Betting just on the highest odds, and we have 3.6 for Kaiserslautern, which is a good team, only lost 3 games in this season, so nice odds, but at the end no surprise if anything else happens. We have 2 more games in Portugal with Farense versus Gil Vicente, and both are not really the big deal. And in this situation we can maybe go with the home team. If the home team manages to win some games or make some points and the away team is struggling, I would say the majority will also bet on the home side, and in this situation I'm proud of the majority, which is only 46%, but I think why they go with Gil Vicente is that they are just the better team in the standings, but obviously in this situation I don't think so. And Sporting versus Boavista Porto, I think no one is betting on this game because Sporting is the huge favorite and we can't win anything here really, and 84%. And in this situation, sure, it's way better to bet on odds like 23 on a team which has won from time to time a game, so they are not completely lost, and that's why 23 is almost always more value than 1.08. Let's go to the Dutch league, and we have Heerenveen versus PSV. Sure thing that Eindhoven is the Champions League team and leader and should be the winner here. 86% think that this is the case. In odds, this is only 1.15, so the odds are maybe interesting for betting, but not for me. And we have two more clear situations with Fortuna versus Valvik, 81%, and Feyenoord versus Heracles, even more percent, almost 90%. There are more closer games in the neighbor country in Belgium between Beerschot and Liège, and Beerschot is the worst team in this league, and so Liège should win here away. At least they have really interesting odds for that. 70% of the people think so. Leuven versus Charleroi. Who should win that? If you don't have a clue, I would prefer the team with the higher odds, 3.1. But as we can say with this arrow here, the odds are going down for the favorite. This means there must be more people betting on the home team, as we see here with 48. Otherwise, the odds wouldn't go down. In this case, we have a different situation, but still the underdog has here for sure not more money on it, and that means that the home team might be favorite here in the majority, but with 3.2 we have two reasons to bet on Denda, as they are better in the standings. They scored more goals, conceded less, and Kortrijk is a decent home team, but Denda also is a decent away team, so we expect no winner here. So I would prefer to bet on the highest odds on a draw in this situation. And this is complete legit, as 50% don't think Kortrijk will win. But anyway, 50% think 2.25 is a wise decision betting on a team like Kortrijk. Let's go to Greece, and the video is getting so long because there are so many games, but I try to keep it short and quick. AEK is the huge favorite at Lamia. No surprise that we get almost 85%, maybe a bit more at Rimitos at home, 74%, and the only interesting game in Greece is Volos versus Asteras, where we have a home team which is slightly better than the other team, but what I am looking for, what is with the goal difference. And here we see that's a huge difference, -11 versus -1. Asteras is not worse here, and also Volos has no victory at home. How can they be any favorite? Only because the guests lost 4 out of 5 games, I think. Still, odds of 3.0 are good enough. In Scotland, we have Hibernian versus Ross Country. Huge favorite, simple bet, but as you can see, not everyone is convinced that this is a good bet. Me neither. What I like is Motherwell versus Dundee. We see the odds for Motherwell are going up. That's because they are not the better team if it comes to scoring and conceding goals. And this is something we also can see in the home versus away standings, where Dundee is really good at playing away with only 1 loss. And so we hardly can make a mistake, as the odds for Dundee are good. Sorry, and even the odds on a draw are even better for the same probability. 30% home win, maybe only 20% home win, 30% draw, 40% away win, and that's why I prefer the higher odds and the majority here. Not really mathematically driven. St. Johnstone versus St. Mirren, 2 Saints, and Also interesting as the underdog on the right side maybe is the better team. We can't really see that in the standings, but we see that St. Johnstone is the worst home team, which is for me kind of enough to say, why should I bet on the worst home team in a home game? I'm not seeing a point here. Also hard to bet on the Mirren, but easy to bet on the highest odds, 3.4 on a draw. Don't cry for me, Argentina. The truth is I never left you. Throughout my lifetime, Banfield versus Sarmiento. I don't have a clue about that, and if I don't have a clue about that, I just bet on the highest odds or on draw. In this situation, why Banfield should win this game might only be because a lot of Banfield supporters think it's good to support their team, but hey, it's not about supporting, it's about winning money or having a lot of tips right. San Lorenzo versus Tigre, and here also the majority would say San Lorenzo is the underdog because they're playing away and they are 4 points behind Tigre. I don't think so that the odds are completely in the wrong direction, but I think it's more interesting to bet on almost 5 in a game where the odds should be at 3 max. And so yeah, maybe close win for San Lorenzo, but 1.9 is always a sign that it might tend to a draw or even to the away team. Is this the same situation here? Not really, as we see Instituto is falling in the odds. Have a close look at these arrows, and the other odds are rising. And why is that? As maybe the streak of Instituto is better, the recent games were better maybe than on the away side. I really don't like to bet on Argentinian league, as somehow I'm not really successful in it. Yeah, but also 4.1 for the away team seems okay. And as you can see in this game between Rosario and Belgrano, that this league is also very close. Place 22, 8 spots behind 14, are only 6 points. That's nothing after so many games, and it can change. And as you can see also, the home team is one of the worst home teams. Belgrano only won 2 games away, but also only lost 3 away out of 12. That's not bad. Why should they lose here? So these odds are perfect for a draw, but if the odds for a draw are not above 3.5, I don't take it, and that's why 3.8 for a maybe winner with a chance of 30%, that's still value in the long run. And I have 1000 bets almost in 1 month, and that's why I don't care if I lose a bet like this, because you know you only have to win it in 39 times out of 100, and I think I can do that. Boca Juniors versus Independiente, and the Juniors are favorites, so make it short. They're a home team, and a lot of people are too overconfident maybe that this is a good tip on the home team. But as you can see, this might also be closer than the majority thinks. Sure, more people like Boca Juniors, but that is not a popularity competition. It's just about making clever decisions. And to be honest, this is not the best decision, but anyway, the most people think it is. And also, betting is not always democracy. If it was, then the bookmakers wouldn't exist anymore and everyone would be millionaire. Just do it like that and bet on the majority. I showed you what the majority thinks, and we make a second video what the majority would have won against the tips I made at the end. And we compare it, and as you can see, I didn't think a lot in these situations. I don't know anything about these teams or leagues or players. I don't know any player of the Argentinian league. But I'm pretty confident that in the long run I would still beat most of the majority people, because I know that it's better to bet on higher odds. And if this is just one of the most important things in betting, and one of the most important steps to be profitable. But automatically betting on higher odds is still not the right decision, as in some situations also very low odds, like in this situation on Dinamo Zagreb, might be still a good bet if we have a very dominant team. And Dinamo Zagreb is a dominant team, as we know them from the Champions League. And on the other hand, the standings show the same sign. I didn't know that, but I don't have to know that a team which plays in the Champions League versus a team I don't know with odds of 1.5 still might be a good bet. And also this arrow shows that I'm not completely wrong. In this game, I would say we can think about the right side. Both are not good teams, both don't score a lot, and if we have a game between two teams with very few goals and we have good odds of 3.5 on a draw, it's a no-brainer for me, but not for the majority, unfortunately. And I hope so much that this proves me right. But anyway, never make your decision depending on just one prediction or one bet. As I said, I have 1,000 in a month, and so I'm wrong in about more than 50% of the situations. But anyway, that doesn't matter if your average odds are above 2. And yeah, you just have to beat the average odds and not the majority or the bookmakers. That's complete nonsense. You only have to beat yourself and be disciplined and bet on good odds. Yeah, it's getting longer and more uninteresting in the Serbia League. I didn't even know these teams. Mladost, I heard it. Okay, no clue about this. Way better team in the standings. So still good odds with 2.2. Most of the people think the same. You don't have to know a lot about it if you have standings like this and odds like that. Selesnya, without knowing anything about the teams and the standings, I would say just randomly putting money on a high odd of 6.5 is more lucrative than on low odds. And sure, we just placed our theoretical bet on the last in the standings, but hey, they had one victory, and also we have a team on the other side only winning 33% of their games. That's not a team where I want to have odds of 1.4. If they win 33% of their games, I want to have 3 or something. But you don't get it, so that's why the best thing is not betting at all or betting on anything else with a smaller amount of money. We are getting back to England and one of my favorite leagues in the world, the second English league, the Championship, because there are also very very good teams in a very condensed situation, and in the standings they are close, and we find a lot of interesting bets here. It's not that hard to beat the championship odds, as they're not in the focus like the Premier League, so it's maybe more often the case that the bookies don't make their odds that good, and so it's more interesting. And the first one might be Bristol versus Queen's Park Rangers, as Bristol for sure is not a really dominant team. And why shouldn't there be a draw possible, as I know that most of the people think the home team with lower odds and a better position is more attractive, but that's just wrong. Otherwise you would be a millionaire, or you would do videos and not me. Then Coventry versus Hull. The last versus Coventry, only 5 points more, but kind of bit better points. That's why, betting on the last here for me, no good thing. We know Coventry at home seems to be a better part. Still nothing to get too fancy about it, as Leeds is the second team in this league. Also hard to find a lot of value in Luton versus the number 5 Blackburn, and 10 spots difference with good odds on the home team justifies a bet on them. 80% think the same, so why not being one of them? Millwall at Middlesbrough, and Millwall, to be honest, I just was betting on them. I don't ask me why. Some stats in my strategy showed that there's value on Millwall. Not in the win, but I was betting on draw no bet on Millwall, and as I can't do that here, I would say this can be a draw for sure. 82% of the people don't think so, and this is why just Middlesbrough is a bit better after 19 games, but 6 points, as I said before, after 19-20 games is not much. It's only 2 games, and so Millwall still has a positive difference of goals, and I like here the high odds on Millwall. That's just the reason I risk a bit money for winning if there's a draw or even Millwall wins. Sheffield wins at Oxford in 65%. The other Sheffield United is even more favorite versus Plymouth, and in this case I like the odds of 10. Sure, Sheffield is number 1, but hey, they lost also 2 games, and would be a really big deal if Plymouth could make here a surprise. Anyway, I don't care. Stoke Cardiff, we can roll the dice, or we bet just on a draw and the highest odds, as for sure Stoke with 69% is way overrated, as we only have 4 points difference. Okay, from time to time they might not win a home game, as they did in 70% of their home games. They didn't win. And the last game in this epic video is really a good one, as we have home team Swansea versus Sunderland. And for all I know is Sunderland till I die. And that's why betting on Sunderland with odds of 2.5 or better is always value. And we have 53% of the people thinking the same. Sunderland till I die.